Alright, hi. Today we're going to be reading the operating rules book. Technically, the CSX, how tomorrow moves. Um, these rules are effective after January 1st, 2014. Governing conditions, actions, the railroads operated with the CSX in the United States supersedes all previous versions of the CSX transportation operating rules, and signal aspects and indications are dedicated to the men and women of the CSX to help work as a team divided with our customers within the safest, most effective, environmental, responsible railway transportation service in the industry. While every effort has been made to create a comprehensive set of operating rules, it's possible to write a rule book that covers every circumstances. It's impossible to write a book that covers every circumstances. There are no specific rules applied. Really, on good judgment, follow the safest course available. This book is property of CSX Transportation and its railroad subsidiaries. Issued to name and job entitled. The book must be returned to a supervisor upon demand when leaving service. This page is intentionally left blank. Chapter 1, General Requirements. Your Application Rules, Special Instruction System Division Bulletin. Notice CSX Standard Time, CSX Property and Interest, Employee Behavior Reporting Conditions, Drugs, Alcohol. Rule G, Use the Tobacco Product Certification of License, Hours of Service Act, and the requirements. Train on track equipment, sleeping and napping while on duty. Train engine service employees, yards masters, operators, duties when proving of flag protection at work locations. Chapter 2, specific signals and their use. Flagging appliances for providing warning against approaching trains. Hand flag, lantern signals, locomotive bell, horn, and locomotive lights. End of train marker. Two-way telemetry. Chapter 3, authorized train speed, control train speed, location that must be approached to prepare to stop, permanent and temporary track speeds, wayside signs, work limits at the controlled tracks, train coordination, out of service limits, train and emergency protecting passenger train stops, flagged work locations, railroad crossing at a grade, highway railway crossing at a grade, malfunction of a highway rail crossing, warning system providing the protection of the highway rail crossing at the grade. Chapter 4, utility employee switches, switching and shoving in a securement, utility employment operating utility employee operating switches, derails by hand. Spring switches, electrical lock switches, releasing handbrake, switching equipment, shoving and pushing equipment, leaving equipment in the clear, general securement of requirements, securement of the cars and securement of the locomotives, securement of trains, securement of key trains, defective handbrakes. Chapter 5, centralized training dispatching system, authorized movement of the dispatcher bulletin, dispatcher message, release forms, form EC1, other main signals and siding tracks, main signals and siding tracks, general signal, rules, track warrant, not control, non-signaled, track warrant control, automatic brakes, automatic block signals, main track yard limits not signaled, main track yard limits signaled, control traffic signaled in one direction, traffic control point signals, cab signal systems, general cab signal systems, and the wayside intermediate cab signal without wayside intermediate. Chapter 6, transportation dispatching. General train dispatcher rules, train dispatching systems, managing dispatcher bulletins, dispatcher messages, form EC1, managing signals and signal appliances, control point signals, control point appliances, permission to pass and stop, signal, maintaining train movements, train authorities, permission to make the reverse movement, protecting a train with a track segment, limits, blocks, lighting, and main tracks, track stop, and emergency brake application. Managing engineering work, track authorities, permission to not insulated on the track equipment of the path to stop the signal, the remote control railroad crossing at the grade, controlled track removed from the service highway rail crossing at the grade, defective detectors verification process, removing defective detectors from service, restoring defective detectors for service, managing unusual situations, reporting the track irregularities, rough track signal, non-function properly, unexplained occupancy, lights, and weather. Chapter 7, road workers on track, safety, general requirements of the engineering department, employees on the track, safety in the job, briefing requirements, reserved, EC1 is the line and authority, individual train detection, train approach warning, and train coordination, working limits of non-controlled tracks, working limits of controlled tracks, conditional stop, flag protection, establish emergency working limits, maintenance of a lockout and non-check functions, and local control, removing the control track from the surface railroad crossing at the grade of the drawbridge, operating machines on track equipment, and operating cranes. Chapter 8, on track Worker qualifications, prerequisite engineering employee, qualification, responsibility employee, seeking qualification, responsible for examining the employee, responsible as supervisor, qualification as an employee in charge. 805 short-term project procedures, Chapter 9 remote control operation, general requirements, required safety tests, remote control zones, positive protection, positive stop protection, operating remote control equipment, Chapter 10, electronic device radio communication using electrical devices by railroad operating employees using the personal electrical devices using railroad supplied electrical devices, general rail rules, radio requirements for the on track equipment, testing road and equipment, positive identification transmitting by the railroad, receiving, acting upon ending of the railroad transmission, information that must be copied in emergency transmission, Chapter 11, protection in the bowls and blue signal protections, required protection for the bowl tracks, blue signal protection for general rules established for blue signal protection, remotely controlled switches, locomotive servicing track area, car shop repair track area, Chapter 12, signal aspects, indication of 1280 to 1298, standard C1 1280 to C1298, chassis, CR 127, CR 1277 and 1295, Conrail wayside signals, Appendix clearance, glossary, transportation, good faith challenge, engineering department on the track, safety, good faith challenge, and glossary. This page is intentionally left blank.